Alright guys, welcome back to Ether Bandit's Garage. Today, got a new project. This is a 1959 John Deere 630. Got power steering. The only part of the 3-point it's missing is a top link. Live PTO, one remote. Very complete. I have the starter cover. The only real problem is the motor is stuck. And the story I heard for why it was stuck, or for why it sat as long as it did, is because the old man that used to own it took the distributor apart. Because like this is very apart. I guess he was checking weights maybe? I don't know. And then he passed away. And then nobody knew where the parts were to put it back together to make it run. Which also it's missing a clutch part or two. Which that's okay. We can get that from my 60. But I mean it's very straight. Here's the tag if y'all were curious or anything. Very straight, very clean. So only real problem with this tractor is the motor is stuck. I pulled out both spark plugs. That's what this one looks like, if that tells you anything. And I purchased a little bore scope, which I'm gonna scope this. And it goes to your phone, so hopefully I can put some footage up of it. But I have gotten it to move. I can get it to move if you take your pry bar and you put it on the starter like this. You can get it to move a little bit each way. Not a lot, but a little bit. But I don't think it'll be that hard to get it unstuck. Only one piston's all the way in the front and one's all the way in the back. I'm gonna try using some of this Rust-Oleum rust dissolver. Pour it in number 2 cylinder because it is definitely the problem child. I don't think number 1 is stuck. I say that just from the footage that I've looked at already. But I don't know. I'm gonna put oil in cylinder 1 and we're gonna put rust dissolver in cylinder 2. And we're gonna let it sit for a couple days and then come back out here and play with it some more. So yeah, let me get some footage of that and we're gonna see where it goes. Alright guys, so y'all can tell here that this is cylinder number 2, which you can see there's some water in here. I didn't put any oil in it yet. Right here I'm looking at the exhaust valve. It's a little bit worse for wear. See, trying to look underneath it and see the seat, which that seat's pretty torn up. But you can tell it's got a little bit more rust than I was anticipating. But I mean, in all reality, that's not bad. It could be a lot worse because it could be flaky, and that's just bubbly. There is a difference actually. Um, but I mean, the worst part is on the outside of the cylinder wall, or on the outside of the tractor side, right there. It gets a little flaky there, which makes it kind of bad. And the top's pretty rough, which they always are rough in these 2 cylinders, because that water evaporates up. But I mean, I'm probably gonna need to pull the head to do a valve job. In all reality, the more I've thought about it, but I really want to get it to soak, or let it soak, so that way right here it can we can get it as full as possible. Because whenever problem with 2-cylinder, you pull the head and you can't soak it anything because it all runs out the front of it. So you can tell right here, I'm going into cylinder number 1, which makes it hard to tell it's the piston, and then that's the firing chamber, and this is the exhaust valve. Uh, the exhaust valve, all the valves were closed on this cylinder. There's nothing inside of it that makes it look bad. Like, all in all, I'm rather pleased with this cylinder, but it could, I mean, number two kind of has me a little bit more worried than I initially was thinking it was going to be. But what can you do? So in this side, I put just regular ATF in there because from the borescope it looks like that cylinder is really not stuck. Both valves were shut, but in this cylinder we're gonna put some of this Rust-Oleum rust dissolver, just out of sheer experimentation. This is brand new. I should probably shake that first. I mean, in theory, this would be really good stuff to use because it's designed for removing rust. Which this one, it doesn't... I think the rust could be a lot worse. Which, granted, I can't see below the water. But... And I can't do this with one hand. But... I don't really think that rust is that bad. It just looks bad. It's bubbly, but it's not scaly. When it gets scaly is when it's like we need to pull the head. Which we might need to pull the head on this one. I mean, just because the manifold's bad or whatever. Which might end up doing that if we try a little bit and it won't unseize. Because pulling the head would be easy. And then you just wire wheel it out and break it loose and it should be good. But we're going to try this first. Just out of curiosity's sake. I put this whole quart in here, and you can tell that it's almost full. Which, if I have another quart, I'm going to dump another quart in the exhaust once I put the spark plug in, just to try to fill it up as much as possible. But I got to see if I got one first. But we're going to let this sit a little bit, and then we're going to revisit it. So I do have mostly another quart. We're just going to pour this in here. And yeah, it's going to run out of that. But I'm hoping some of it will make it into the cylinders. And which, I think less went in there than I was wanting. But y'all get the point. Really not going to hurt anything at this point. So hopefully that's more full than it was at right there. Just trying to get as much in there as possible. But we'll keep y'all updated here. I guess it's just gonna have to see what happens. All right, so developed me a little idea here. Hear me out. My first idea was to do the same thing we did last time with the grease gun. Go watch that video if you haven't seen it. But I remembered I had this pulling cylinder from a porta power. Least invasive, 5 tons. And so all I did was I wrapped a chain here, wrapped a chain around the axle, and then you put it on here. Tractor turns. It does make some cool popping noises, but it's loose. So I guess I'm probably gonna try to spin it the other way now. See if you can spin it backwards or anything. Because now all I have to do is loosen that up. And I can take this off. But yeah, cool idea. We'll let you know how this goes. So I realized, which I just put this on here, if you do this, which I just had it turning, you can get that whole thing to turn. which this is me spinning it backwards too. So keep that in mind. But it is moving. And I know if it bent a rod, which it's not saying it didn't, but if it did, then it probably still wouldn't move. But it's going to take quite a bit of working this thing back and forth to get it to really want to move the way I want it to. But this is still a move in the right direction. I guess I'm going to keep working on this, and we'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so we got our thing reset here. We're snugging our chain up. I'm just sitting here pumping this. And this motor should start moving. Sure, I'll put it here so y'all can watch. In a semi-stable spot. You can watch that chain as it gets farther down. But it is turning. So now we're at the end of our stroke. Turn some more. Let me see if I can get another bite. We can only go till the chain runs into something. But we'll let y'all know. Okay, so I got it reset again. And it's still going. But yep, so I guess just gonna have to keep working with this, and it should be ready to, I guess, pull the valve cover off and see how many stuck valves we have.